welcome to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's only local morning show, giving you exclusive access into people, businesses, and events in our community. We're bringing you this show live, daily, weekdays at 9:30 a.m. with your host, me, Maddie Muschin. Before we dive into today's show, every week we highlight someone, an educator, student, business, or organization from our Greater West Bloomfield community going above and beyond. If you would like to submit an entry for someone, you can scan the QR code on the screen and fill out the short Google form with the person's name, their contact information, and reasons why you think they should be recognized here on the Splash Live for our Person of the Week. Now let's go check out what's going on in our Greater West Bloomfield community. The first event we want to look at are the West Bloomfield Township Public Library virtual events. They're hosting a ton of fun and educational events for residents of West Bloomfield in all age groups. All their programs for this week have concluded, but you can start to register for events next week. Next Monday, their registration opens for West Bloomfield Library on the Go, and next week's theme is Crowns. This program allows you to register your toddler or preschool-age children for a fun hands-on craft that you can take home to create. These kits will come with all the necessary materials and also have a link to a step-by-step video to help your child create their crown. You can also register to rent out those great literacy or tender topic kits that will help your child with literacy skills and learn ways to talk about tough topics that are happening in our community. Next Thursday, they are having a talk titled Lonely Heart Killers that goes in depth about the Michigan crimes of Beck and Fernandez and other Cupid Club killers that preyed on lonely hearts in Michigan. This discussion will be led by one of the great West Bloomfield librarians and allow you to dive deep into the story of Lonely Heart Killers' history in Michigan. For all these events, you can go to the West Bloomfield Township Public Library website at wblib.org to register. Our next event we want to look at is the Kiko Harbor Canal cleanup. Next Saturday, April 2nd, volunteers are needed to help Parks and Recreation Commission in Kiko Harbor clean out the mouth of the canal that runs through Fran Leaf Park and alongside Willow Beach Swim Site. You can contact the Kiko Harbor Parks and Recreation to join and help clean up our community while also enjoying the outdoors. This is a great way to get out and give back to your Kiko Harbor community through making sure that the canal is clean for the springtime. The last event we want to look at is the Sylvan Salon. This is their 5th salon that they're going to be hosting. The Sylvan Salon events are at the core opportunities to explore a myriad of topics with friends and neighbors, new and old. This is their 3rd part of their events covering the Holocaust. For their Part 3 Holocaust event on April 5th, Sylvan residents are relating to their parents' Holocaust stories. It will be hosted by Sally Rogers Siegel and David Frankel. Mr. Lessing will also be a returning guest, this time to listen and learn, as he won't be formally presenting again. This salon will take place at 6 p.m. for their social hour, and presentations will go from 7 p.m. to 8:15. If you have any questions, you can contact Kelly Kraus at 248-797-6730 for more information, and all the proceeds for your ticket will help fund live music in Sylvan Lake this summer. If you have an event you'd like us to feature here on the Splash Live, you can send us a message on our social media pages at Civic Center TV and Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. Coming up, we'll be talking to Suzanne Levine, Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. But before that, I get to stop by a staple here in Greater West Bloomfield that is bringing the feeling of community and house-made beer and food to the area. CJ's Brewing Company, located off of Richardson Road, is a perfect place to gather with friends, and I got to talk to the Assistant General Manager, Tyson Forrester, about why you should make CJ's your go-to restaurant.
Calling all beer fanatics and lovers of local restaurants, CJ's Brewing Company has all the beer and homemade food you could dream of right here in Greater West Bloomfield. We visited CJ's and talked to Assistant General Manager Tyson Forrester about their history and the food and beer they serve.
Well, as far as CJ's is concerned, we were started back in 1997. For probably a majority of the early 2000s, we were number 5 in the state for beer production, which is saying a lot how small our brewery is. We actually have a brew pub license, which allows us to keep a full liquor bar, as well as our brewing process. So we do a lot of fun stuff. Our top 5 is our normal Golden Lager American Wheat VAT 33 IPA, Lower Straight Stout, and our Rich Hag Red that we have. We always have at least 14 to 16 taps, and everything is made in-house. We do have a few domestics that, believe it or not, we end up having to throw some of them away because they fall past the date because our beer is so good. What I will say about our beer is it is true to the type of beer, like our lower straight stout. It doesn't have a lot of big, I call them foo-foo flavors for me. You know, my husband likes Neapolitan stout from Saugatuck Brewing Company. I love our lower straight stout because it is a stout and it's not thick. So you can have more than one and not feel full. We have a scratch kitchen, so everything down to the sauces, down to the doughs is made in-house, which I think wrapping that around the fact that we have so much good beer works well for us.
We also asked Tyson how the COVID-19 pandemic impacted CJ's and the rest of their staff.
Throughout the pandemic, you know, we had a lot of people that were very nervous about what was going on in the real world, you know. Information came in spurts. One of the big things that I preached from day one was, you know, all of the rules and regulations that the health department has put us in, we already do that. So you don't have to learn anything new other than, you know, triple the amount of times that you might wipe a door handle. And that was our focus. You know, a lot of people were affected differently. They reacted differently. I know a lot of our fellow restaurants were really, really affected by the shutdown with what happened with COVID-19 and then, you know, the increased restrictions that the restaurant industry held.
Tyson also talked about his love for the greater West Bloomfield area as well as what the community means to them.
I always tell everybody we're far enough away but close enough to be there. You know, we don't have the hustle and bustle that you see if you're shooting down Woodward from Birmingham all the way to Detroit. There's pride, there's a sense of pride whenever you say, you know, I live in West Bloomfield. I don't ever feel like ashamed or upset.
If you're looking for a place to eat that feels like a community, CJ's Brewing Company in Greater West Bloomfield is the place for you. Reporting for The Splash Live, I'm Maddie Muschin.
Thank you again to Tyson Forrester for giving us an inside look into CJ's Brewing Company. The love for the West Bloomfield and their patrons is off the charts, so make sure to stop by and check out their expansive list of beers and great food. Later on, we'll be taking a look at our person or people of the week who have made their mark on the Greater West Bloomfield community and on the entire state of Michigan. But before that, we'll be talking to Suzanne Levine, Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. All that and more after this short break.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Muschin. Joining us now to talk about all the exciting things that are happening within the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce is the woman behind it all, Suzanne Levine, Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Suzanne, thanks so much for joining us again today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Suzanne, can we first give some updates on the events that the Chamber are putting on right now and in the future months to help business owners?
Absolutely. We've reinstituted our Cup of Connections with a twist. In the past, they were at a couple of our local coffee houses, but now we're actually having them at local businesses. So it's a great way for our community to showcase some of our great local businesses. In April, the second Friday of every month, we're going to be doing the next one. I believe it's April 11th at Provision Living. So it's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's free to chamber members. There is a one-time non-member fee of $10. We allow people to see what our chamber is about. I'm really excited that we've been able to revisit our health fair this year, and we're expecting a large audience. People are very excited to be back in person. It'll be on June 8th at the Township offices, 11 to 2. It is free to the public. There is a charge for the vendors. And we have another really great event, July 20th at Suburban Showcase in Novi with the Novi Chamber, the Lakes Area Chamber, and the Farmington Hills Chamber. And that'll be from 4 to 6, and there is a charge to attend. All of this information is on our website, westbloomfieldchamber.com. So contact me or, contact Maddie just to say hello.
Suzanne, you are probably the best person to talk to about businesses, things that business owners can do to make the most out of networking and to make sure that their business stays afloat, especially as we come out of the pandemic a little bit. Can you give us some tips for business owners in our greater West Bloomfield community for making the most out of networking to make their business thrive?
Well, I think it's really important now that our local businesses, since they can't compete with an Amazon or some of the larger chains, that customer service has to be everything, from the minute someone walks in the door to the minute they leave. And so anything they can do to make a customer feel welcome, appreciated, and seen is really important, because we know that word of mouth is almost more important than any amount of advertising you can do. It can, break or make a business. So that's very important. For all of our chamber members, we have so many opportunities to meet other businesses and figure out ways to collaborate. One of my best stories and most successful is when one of our local pizza owners contacted me and joined the chamber and said, how can they increase their business? And I connected them with all kinds of real estate agents and suggested that the real estate agents let them know when they've sold a house and that they deliver a small pizza, welcome to the neighborhood. I mean, how great, a little gift, a free gift, and it's a great way for them to sample their products. So there are lots of different ways that people can collaborate, local businesses that won't really cost them much money to, promote their business.
And Suzanne, with the ever-changing technology and marketing strategies for businesses, in conversations that you've had recently with some business owners here in our greater West Bloomfield community, is there something that comes up that you suggest to them in terms of marketing or technology and in having advancements in their business?
Well, one of the great things that our chamber does is we teach free Google classes, and they can go to our website again, westbloomfieldchamber.com, and our fabulous Vito Kukuru, who's a social marketing guru and helps us a lot. He teaches these free Google classes. It's on email marketing, on social media, how to make sure that you stay present, and also to guard your reputation, because we know there's always going to be someone who may say something discouraging, and how to contact that person and find out what their experience was and how you can make it better. I mean, you really can, I cannot say enough about trying to make sure that you maintain your good image.
And Suzanne, if a business owner here in the community, for our viewers that are watching, can you tell us a little bit about the benefits of becoming a member for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce and some of the things that they can get once they do become a member?
Well, one of the things that is unique to our chamber, and we're sort of like a concierge boutique chamber where I know all our members. So I am a business matchmaker where I definitely take the time to find out about their business and then try to connect them with other businesses that they could collaborate with. For example, Profile by Sanford, which is kind of a weight place that, they try to maintain people's weight or through healthy eating. I connected them with our aesthetic medical spa because people that are concerned about their weight are probably concerned about the way they look. And they've had a couple events together. Also, one of the things that I do for our chamber members is for free, I will allow them to put a flyer in our newsletter every week. I don't charge for that. And when they join the chamber, I let them have a free e-blast. So there's a lot of different, we have our WIN, our Women's Inspiration Network. We have our Connect with an Expert. We have our senior resource group. The senior resource group especially is open only to chamber members. And these are great opportunities for businesses that want to serve the senior community, not only to network with one another, but to get in front of seniors to give talks about their health, wealth, and other tips to keep them, healthy and wealthy and wise.
And Suzanne, if a business owner is not familiar with how to get involved with the chamber, could you share how they can get involved, become a member, and then also sign up for that news blast that you guys do every week?
Absolutely. They can either contact me at wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com or 248-626-3636. And then I can advise them. They can also go to our website, westbloomfieldchamber.com. On the right-hand side, it says sign up for our newsletter. They get all the e-blasts and flyers. They don't have to be a chamber member just to see what's going on in our community. And I'd love to talk to them. I'm always available to even direct them. Oakland County has some fabulous resources for small to medium-sized businesses that are free. So there are a lot of ways to get involved and find out how they can increase their visibility in the community.
Well, Suzanne, it's always a pleasure to talk to you on Friday mornings about what's going on in our Greater West Bloomfield community. So we appreciate having you on.
Well, thank you again and have a great weekend. Let's hope the weather, it is Michigan after all, so I guess we'll have to see what it brings.
Yes, fingers crossed we get a nice sunny day.
Right. Thanks again.
Once again, I was joined by Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, Suzanne Levine, talking about the benefits of becoming a member for the Chamber of Commerce and also how you can sign up for their news blasts. This week, we have a very special person of the week because it's a group of girls who have worked diligently to bring home a state title to West Bloomfield High School. Through their dedication to each other and their hard work this season, the West Bloomfield girls basketball team has proved that they are the best in the state. Let's go check out why we named the 2021-2022 West Bloomfield girls basketball team our People of the Week.
Our Person of the Week this week is unique because it's a hard-working group of girls right here in West Bloomfield. After a phenomenal season this year, the girls basketball team headed to East Lansing to play in the semifinal game against Rockford. Their win in the semifinal game advanced them to the state championship, where they beat Heartland 51-42 to be named the Division I girls basketball state champs. Throughout the entire season, the West Bloomfield girls basketball team knew that they had a special group of girls between their talent and leadership on the team. Their motto this season was I Believe, which inspired them to believe in themselves individually as well as a team. After losing their first game of the season to Dexter, the girls took their I Believe mentality and ran with it, all the way to the state championship. In just their first season under head coach Darren McAllister, the West Bloomfield girls basketball team leaned on each other and stayed true to their skills and talent. We asked Coach McAllister his thoughts on the team this year.
The joy and just seeing that they accomplished that goal, because this is, again, I say all the time, this is bigger than basketball. So now they know in life, if I put my mind to something and I believe it, that I can accomplish it. So those are what those emotions were. And it was wonderful. I still get chills now thinking about it.
All season, this motivated group of girls has worked hard and stayed humble, proving with each win that they are a team that is in sync and strong when faced with close games and tough opponents. With a talented starting lineup and a deep bench, the West Bloomfield girls basketball team was a force to be reckoned with all season long. The Lakers finished their season with only one loss and a state championship trophy to call theirs. Their hard work and dedication to each other were just some of the many reasons why we named the 2021-2022 West Bloomfield girls basketball team our People of the Week.
Congratulations to the entire West Bloomfield girls basketball team for an amazing season that was a product of their natural talent and dedication to each other and the sport that they love. We're going to take a quick break here on the Splash Live, but when we get back, we'll be talking to Nichole Ferguson, Health and Wellness Managing Director for PTL Consulting Group. So don't go anywhere. We'll be joined with Nichole after this break.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Teens a day die from texting and driving. Don't text and drive.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Mustian. There are so many great things to be a part of in the greater West Bloomfield community, and specifically to promote diversity in our area. Here to talk to us about her career and her involvement with the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force is Nichole Ferguson, Health and Wellness Managing Director for the PTL Consulting Group. Nichole, thanks so much for joining us again this morning.
Oh, good morning, Maddie, and thank you for having me. And yes, go Lakers with the girls. They did a fabulous job.
Yes, it was so exciting to go with them and follow them along as they won the state championship. So a big congrats to them. They did a great job this season. Nichole, can we first start to talk about your career path? So we've had you on the Splash to talk about health and food, as well as doing a little cooking segment for us. But can you talk a little bit about what led you to become a health and wellness managing director?
Well, I was in corporate America for over a decade. And I always had, always loved to eat, always had a pretty well-rounded palate, but I just became overweight, especially during school, the freshman 15, the sophomore 20, and it just kept escalating after that until I got to a point, I was very overweight. I was 242 pounds. And I didn't really like to run or do other forms of exercise, but I did like to step and work out, and I started teaching classes, and I was taking classes and then teaching classes, and then I became a certified teacher, and then I'm certified in many different modalities like Pilates and yoga now, especially as I get older, as well as being a fitness trainer, personal trainer, health and wellness coach, and I've been doing it for many years. It's given me and afforded me an opportunity to have a flexible schedule and raise my kids at the same time. So, and also to help people. So that's been the most fabulous part about it. And I celebrated losing 100 pounds probably in 2002. So that was almost 20 years ago.
Very exciting. And Nichole, you kind of do it all. You are a woman of many talents, and you also give back to the community. So we can talk a little bit about your involvement with the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force. Can you talk about how you first got involved with them?
Well, Kelly Heyer, she's the superintendent of West Bloomfield Parks. She put out a blast email, like a call to action of anyone that would be interested in participating on a task force. And one of the reasons I wanted to be involved is I looked at other communities, our surrounding communities that had very robust programs for Black History Month. And we didn't really have a whole lot. The high school, they would do a march, but actually the library, the recreation department really didn't have any programming or content. And I spoke up a few years about that a while ago. And since then, they've gotten like a new director at the library, and some other management positions changed. And one of the parks commissioners said, hey, we should put this task force together and maybe do a couple of events for Black History Month. and I wanted to be a part of that. If you're going to say something about it, I think you should participate in the solution as well. So that's what brought me to the task force. And so far, this year and last year have been extremely successful, and we've had such well-attended events in the community. I think everybody is shocked.
And Nichole, could you talk a little bit about the work that goes into creating these events? I was at a couple of the events that West Bloomfield Parks and Rec and the Diversity Task Force put on for Black History Month. Can you talk about the preparation and the conversations that you have within the Diversity Task Force to get those events up and running?
Well, the task force, I think right now is over 20 folks, and we all have ideals of what we might want to bring to the table. And we actually start like in August with planning, and we meet once a month. We throw out some ideals, we throw out a timetable and what we would like to see happen possibly. And we kind of form subcommittees. And in these subcommittees, we meet. We might have small meetings, but as we get closer to Black History Month, we start to meet a little bit with more regularity. And for the Love Yourself event that I was a part of, that was like my brainchild of the Love Yourself event that encompasses health and wellness. We look at professionals in the area, we start to shape it and form it, and it's great. I guess most of us all have some project management background that helps the event come together, and we get people on board, we confirm their participation, and like I said, every event has been so successful that we've been able to coordinate.
And Nichole, as we wrap up here, is there anything else that you wanted to share, either about your work in health and wellness or any of those cool events coming up within the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force?
Well, I think one, I want to say stay tuned, because I think we're going to be brainstorming and finding ways to do more things throughout the year. And I think everyone is going to be so impressed and so surprised with what we come up with. And we're going to be calling on residents to participate and help with some of these activities. And I think people are going to be really surprised and very impressed with it. But and also, I would love to do another Love Yourself event either this year. So definitely possibly look out for some communications, even on Facebook. I'm under Nichole Ferguson Bostic on Facebook in West Bloomfield. I'm going to be sponsoring a yoga day this year, meeting out at Drake's Park to do some yoga in the park. And if you want to contact me personally about my services, I can be reached at NicholeUpClose@yahoo.com. And Nichole is Nichole, upclose@yahoo.com. And thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. It's always a pleasure having you on The Splash. Nichole, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Have a great day.
Thanks. Once again, I was joined by Nichole Ferguson, the woman of many talents and also a health and wellness managing director for the PTL Consulting Group, talking about her career in health and wellness, as well as how you can get involved in what the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force does in our community. That's going to do it for Friday's show today. Thank you again to Suzanne Levine and Nichole Ferguson for joining us this morning on The Splash Live. A special thanks to our Zoom producer, Jared Clark, for coordinating the Zoom each and every weekday and making sure that our guests joined us on time. As always, a big thank you to Calvin Brown, our board operator, our director, our producer, the man of many talents, making the show possible each and every morning. And thank you for joining me as we explored all of the people and events in our greater West Bloomfield community. As always, you can make sure to tune in live on Civic Center TV on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99 Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 10 a.m. to catch up on what's going on in our greater West Bloomfield community. You can also watch our show every morning on My Michigan TV. It's a new streaming service that covers all of the great people and events happening around Michigan. You can either head over to mymytv.com, that's mymitv.com, or download the My Michigan TV app that are free to download on your smart TV and mobile device. You can also check out all of our archived stories and interviews by visiting civiccentertv.com and follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at Civic Center TV. For all of our friends in Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, Kiko Harbor, and West Bloomfield, thank you all for joining me this Friday on The Splash Live. I'm Maddie Muschin.